This week on BOI Weekly, we start with the commissioning of the first smart card printing and personalization company in Nigeria, and indeed the largest in sub-Saharan Africa outside of South Africa. A full local content end-to-end manufacturing factory, proudly supported by the Bank of Industry.
I am proud to say that Secure ID is a truly Nigerian company. And truly, it's 100% owned by Nigerians, with 95% of its workforce being Nigerians.
Then, we'll take you to one of the largest quarrying sites in Galowi village, Buari, Abuja, where one of the finest aggregate stones for building constructions are produced.
Agricultural sector due to limited processing and preservation capacity. This results in high food prices and food importation, with its attendant effects on the nation's foreign reserves. To enable Nigerians optimize the benefits from the country's vast agricultural products such as cassava, oil palm, rice, tomatoes, and others, the Bank of Industry has launched a 5 billion naira cottage agro-processing fund, the CAP Fund. Customers can access the fund to establish plans to process our various agro-produce into food products or intermediate raw materials for industries at a single-digit interest rate of 9% per annum. For more information on the CAP Fund, please visit www.boinigeria.com/capfund. Bank of Industry, developing Nigeria's agro-processing industry through the CAP Fund.
The commissioning of Secure ID, a smart card printing and personalization company in Lagos, supported by the Bank of Industry, the first of its kind in Nigeria, and indeed the largest in sub-Saharan Africa outside of South Africa, was a historic moment. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, was ably represented by the Minister of Information and Communication Technology, Omobola Johnson. Also present were the Managing Director of the Bank of Industry, Mr. Rasheed Olaoluwa, and other prominent personalities from both the public and private sectors.
Of UBA, Mr.
Secure ID was conceived in 2005 by the Managing Director, Mrs. Kofo Akikume, with the aim of producing locally made high-security plastic cards in Nigeria, competitive both in quality and pricing. The chairman of Secure ID tells how the company was able to realize this dream.
Started from the front end, which is basically personalizing cards that were imported into this country. About a few years later, we integrated backwards slightly by bringing in blank cards, printed blank cards made abroad, and we did the milling and the embedding of the chips in Nigeria. And what we are commissioning today is the final realization of that vision, which is the full manufacture of plastic cards in Nigeria. And I remember when we were starting this last stage of the process, my counsel to Kofu was that whatever we do, if we're going to do it at all, if we're going to stand any chance of success, it's got to be able to compete. Because, and I told her that it's going to compete with China. China, of course, is being the lowest cost producer of practically everything you can think of. Now, I'm happy to report to you that the plant we're going to be commissioning today is truly globally competitive. It's competitive in quality, it's competitive in technical sophistication of what we can produce, and clearly it is competitive as far as cost is concerned. So we can beat the best China can produce from this plant you're going to see today.
Secure ID is not just competitive in pricing as an indigenous company, but has also aligned itself with global standards by being EMV certified, a global standard for interoperation of integrated circuit cards, and the certificates were presented to the managing director of the company.
Many said it couldn't be done. Some qualified it by saying it couldn't be done in this part of the world, especially in Nigeria, and that we couldn't get certified. That's the manufacturing aspect of it. Today, secure card manufacturing has now become MasterCard, Visa, and Verve certified. High security printing for smart cards. We have not only set up a local plant with global standards, but we have taken the bold step in investing in the higher security printing smart card plant, enabling us to produce cards across all three sectors. And we're talking about payment cards for banking, debit, credit, MasterCard, Visa, Verve. We're talking about SIM cards for the telecom sector, and high security ID cards such as national ID, health cards, voters cards, tax cards, and so on.
For the Minister of Information and Communication Technology, who gave the President's speech, the success of Secure ID is a testimony that there is a significant reduction in import tariffs in Nigeria.
And what you see today is a very strong collaboration between three ministries: the Ministry of Communication Technology, the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, that this plant today will be successful. And we are commissioning this plant really in the context of a tariff that enables total competitiveness within the industry that came into effect on the 1st of January 2015, the Common External Tariff. And despite all what you hear, this government and this administration is working to support local industry.
She then moved on to commission the factory on behalf of the President, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan.
I commission this plant to the glory of God and to the benefit of all Nigerians.
For the Managing Director of the Bank of Industry, the establishment of Secure ID is a step in the right direction, expressing confidence in the profitability of the company and the role it will play in job creation.
For us at BOI, we saw this as a step in the right direction, consistent with Nigeria's Industrial Revolution plan. As a development bank at BOI, we are very proud that we have been able to support Secure ID in terms of provision of long-term facility. And as a lending institution, where you provide project finance, and you can see the outcome, you can see how well utilized the funds provided have been, you feel a sense of fulfillment. And that's what we feel at BOI. And we believe that given the efficient manner in which the project has been implemented, the company itself, now that it's been commissioned, will be well run, will be properly managed, and it will also be profitable. We realize that the company is 100% Nigerian owned, and more importantly, the employees. 95% of the employees are Nigerians. And considering the fact that the company, as of today, is employing about 350 personnel, that's a lot of jobs that have been created.
Mrs. Kofo Akikunmi also took out time to share her experience with the Bank of Industry.
BOI has not just only been a financier to us, but they've also been a huge support in helping to direct us, especially on the government side, because this kind of investment requires a lot of government support. And BOI has been a good platform, a good partner and good platform to use to channel all our issues with the government. Bank of Industry have not just given us money and say, pay us back, but they've given us money and they've stayed with us all through when the project was still being, when the building was coming up, when the machines were coming in, when SATs were being done. BOI supported us all the way through.
Coming up on BOI Weekly, a local mining firm takes advantage of the huge deposit of igneous rocks in the country, producing aggregate stones for building construction, supported by the Bank of Industry.
We have a huge reserve of granite deposit in this country, I would really want to put value to that granite deposit because it's another big source of revenue. We don't have to depend on oil.